Welcome to Chapter 9. In this chapter, I will be preparing you for the actual key level trading, which you will learn in the next chapter, Chapter 10. But before we go into actual trading with the key levels, we must recap a few rules in regards to the stops, the take profits, and a few other things. And most of the stuff you've heard before and you've learned before, and a lot of stuff is going to be the same as with the indicators. And I've created this chapter simply to avoid any confusion to the best of my ability, so that you don't have any questions left in your mind as far as the stops and take profits and all the really basic stuff is concerned, and how is it different from the indicator trading and so on and so forth. So in this chapter, I'll clarify the differences between the details of trading the key levels and trading the indicators. And then in the next chapter, we'll be talking about, and you will be learning how to actually build a correct trade procedure for the key level trading, how to trade them. And in chapter 11, one after the next chapter, you will learn my trading strategy. And that's going to be perhaps the most interesting chapter for you. All right, back to chapter 9. So once again, welcome to chapter 9. You're doing great so far. You're almost done with this learning program, but almost. Quite a few the most important things left, but don't worry, you will be done in no time. All right, so calculated, so the fixed stops versus the technical stops. And this is the same story as with the indicators. So the calculated or the fixed stop, it's calculated in a very, very basic way. The maximum fixed stop that you can use is 0.2% of the total value of the market. So that depends on the market. Of course, if you're trading Dow Jones, which is around 27,000, then it's going to be one stop. If you're trading DAX, which is 13,000, it's going to be a smaller stop. If you're trading S&P 500, it's going to be a really, really small stop in terms of the number. But for the market itself, the stop is going to be the same. It's going to be 0.2% at a maximum. But remember, if you want to use a little bit less, like I do with DAX, the fixed stop, the calculated one, is around 26 points, but I keep it at around 20 points. Now, the technical stop is a stop that you attach to the previous peak, to previous top or bottom wave, and you use it in a very, very simple way, the way I taught you before, comparing the tops and bottoms of waves and therefore identifying the power of the market. And the same thing goes for the technical stops. So if you have a few waves going down and you enter, or just even one candle and you enter into falling, let's say with a false break, then the technical stop would be putting the stop behind the tail, a few points, 1 or 2 points behind the tail of the previous candle. So pretty much the technical stop is finding a technical place to attach it to. It cannot be just in the middle of any candle. This can only be a fixed stop, the calculated one. But a technical one will be attached to some extreme, so to a previous top or bottom of wave, and that's pretty much it. Now, I've recommended this before when we learned about the indicator trading, and I'll say it again. Keep your stop to a bare minimum. The smaller the stop, the better for you, the smaller the risk. We calculate everything from risk in trading. And therefore, if your risk is smaller, then you're better off just in general. If your fixed stop is around 20 points, 25 points, and you see that you can actually put a technical stop at 10 points, then do that. Please don't get stuck to 20, 30 point stops. If you see a possibility of using a technical stop, only if you see a possibility, if it is possible, then use a technical stop, a really, really small one. But remember that a technical stop, it has to be attached to something, and that something has to be an extreme, the previous top or bottom of a wave or a candle or some previous extreme, some previous peak, so it must be logical. You cannot just put a 5-point stop in the middle of a previous candle or anywhere and say that, great, I have a 5-point stop. No, it doesn't work like that. It has to be more structurized. And remember that a smaller stop means more chance for a positive trade for one simple mathematical reason. If you have a stop of 30 points, for example, that means that your absolute minimal take profit that you can allow yourself to take will be 1-to-3 ratio, meaning 90 points. If you have a stop of 10 points, that means your take profit will be 30 points. Now think to yourself, what's easier to take, 30 points or 90 points? Of course, it's a lot nicer to take 90 points, and I encourage you to do so. If you see that the range of the move and the range of the channel, for example, is 300 points, and there is no possible expected interruption in the middle of this channel, then sure, taking 30 points makes no bleeping sense. So yeah, you should at least have 90 or 150 or even 1-to-10 ratio if you see that it's possible. And having a stop of 20 points, you can have your take profit at 200 points. That's great. That's absolutely fine. And you will have trades like that and you will be just super, super happy. However, in everyday reality of trading, it can be quite complicated and quite difficult, and you can have quite a few levels and you can be quite confused, and trading in general, especially in the beginning, can be quite challenging. Therefore, except those super cool and super perfect situations, try to use as small stop as possible and 1-to-3 ratio, meaning that the small take profit as well, but it's at least has to be 3 times as big as this amount of stop. So you will have a lot more positive trades in this way, just because you need to take a smaller amount of take profit. And the ratio stays the same once again, so please don't get confused. The ratio stays the same, just the amount of points is different. And the smaller the stop, the smaller the take profit, and the more chances you'll have of actually having a positive trade. Because it is a lot easier to take 30 points than 90 points. All right, that's it for this lesson. I'm trying to keep these recap lessons as short as possible so we can move on to the more interesting stuff. But still, this is important so that you're not confused and everything is clarified before we get in depth on actually trading the key levels. All right, don't forget about the test, no homework, and I'll see you in the next lesson.